So since my senior year in high school, my dad's been kind of on this like recycling thing. So all of a sudden we started using our bins. We have a black one for trash, green one for grass, and then a blue one for plastics and cardboards. And it came to a point where it got really annoying, where I would grab a water bottle out of my fridge, and before I even drink, he's like, "Put that in the blue bin." I'm like, "Can you chill? I just want to drink my water in peace, like, please." And then so I was wondering like why he was so crazy about it. So I just started doing some research on recycling and waste. And as I was doing my research, I was like, maybe he does know some stuff. You know? Maybe he is a little smart. So as I was doing my research, I figured out that our waste is actually very dangerous and that recycling could help us in the long run. So my first point will be the environmental impact that waste has. So for those of you who don't know, our garbage goes to landfills. And landfills are basically where they take all our trash and they either bury it into the ground or they burn it. Sounds like a great idea. I thought it was a great idea. But when I was doing my research, it really wasn't. So when you bury garbage into the ground, it forms methane gas, which is actually very explosive and contributes to the greenhouse effect. And when you burn garbage, it not only pollutes the air, but creates dangerous gases that could affect our health. So, but landfills are being closed down based on because they're contaminating the ground and they're either too full, and it's also contaminating our groundwater, which is our drinking water. So, and once the land is contaminated, it becomes very expensive and also could be too difficult or impossible to fix. So now that we know how dangerous it is, we can talk about the long-term effects. So an average American produces about 4 to 5 pounds of garbage a day. And then America alone is about 230 million tons of garbage. Less than 24% recycle, and 70% of our garbage can be recycled. And so basically the first long-term effect is our health. There's a gas, the main gas that is produced when trash is being burned is dioxin, and it basically produced when plastic is being burned. And what happens is it becomes a dangerous chemical and it can cause cancer. And other gases that are produced affects our lungs, the nervous system, kidneys, and liver. The second long-term effect is lack of natural resources. So when plastic and paper is not cardboard is not being recycled, our natural resources start to become scarce, which will definitely hurt us in the future. So now that we know the impact and long-term effects, let's go over recycling and how it can prevent from these things happening. So first, recycling reduces demand for natural resources. If we keep reusing it, then our natural resources will last longer. And then the second one is that the environment, the air will be less polluted. There won't be any toxic gases and heavy metals being formed. And then it also is like a next step to stopping the greenhouse effect. With that, I just want to conclude just some tips to not really recycling, but helping to recycle. So the first one is just reducing our consumption. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year at the CAP, they did this thing where all your like extra waste goes into those bins, and they just, I don't know how long they did it, but as it kept on going, there was like less waste that we did because everybody started like taking just less food. And then the second tip that I can give you is just reusing things, like reusing bottles. When you finish drinking a water bottle, you can refill it, or just reusing plastic cups, paper plates, stuff like that. So in conclusion, I wasn't trying to like force you guys to recycle, but just giving you some tips and maybe planting a seed if you want to recycle.